I had always thought that Mia and I were inseparable, like two halves of the same coin, sharing dreams, secrets, and late-night conversations about the future. From the moment we met in freshman year of high school, we built this unshakable bond over shared interests, books, music, volunteering, and our obsession with getting into the same college. We even promised each other that no matter what, we would always push each other to succeed, always support one another. So, when the opportunity came for the prestigious Horizon Scholarship, which covered almost full tuition for an Ivy League school, I thought of it as our joint dream. I meticulously prepared my application for months, writing drafts, asking teachers for letters of recommendation, making sure every detail was perfect. I even stayed up countless nights, sacrificing sleep and social life, perfecting the essay that would showcase not just my achievements, but my vision for the future. Mia, of course, helped me with practice interviews and edits, always cheering me on, and I thought she genuinely wanted me to win. We laughed together, compared our mock responses, and promised each other that whoever got it first, the other would just try next year if necessary. I never expected that this would turn our friendship into a minefield. The announcement was supposed to be an email sent directly from the scholarship committee. I remember sitting at my desk, heart racing, staring at my inbox. My finger hovered over the refresh button as if that single click would change everything. And then it happened, an email subject line glared at me, "Congratulations, scholarship recipient, Mia Layton." My stomach dropped. My best friend. Mia. I opened it in disbelief, reading her name again and again as though repetition could make it a mistake. It wasn't. I stared at the screen, feeling something inside me shatter. All those hours, all the effort, the planning, the nights I'd cried over my essay drafts, and she got it. The first thought that crossed my mind was confusion. How? Mia was brilliant in her own right, yes, but she hadn't poured herself into the application the way I had. Didn't she mention that she was too busy with theater rehearsals and weekend volunteering trips to focus properly? She hadn't even seemed that serious about the scholarship. And yet, there it was, her name in bold, a golden ticket I had dreamed about for so long. I felt a mix of emotions, disbelief, heartbreak, jealousy, and a strange sense of betrayal. And the worst part was Mia herself. She walked into the room that afternoon, grinning like the cat who got the cream. "Can you believe it? I actually got it," she exclaimed, hugging me tight. I forced a smile, told her congratulations, all while my mind screamed at me to be honest, to ask why, to demand answers, but I didn't. Instead, I said the words, smiled, and felt the corners of my world crumble. Over the next few days, I watched her bask in her success. Social media exploded with congratulations from teachers, classmates, even people I barely knew. Mia was radiant, and everyone adored her, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. My friends, family, even strangers online, all told me to be happy for her, to be proud, but inside, I couldn't help it. I was furious and devastated at the same time. Then came the subtle things, comments Mia made in passing, little slips that hinted she might not have earned it entirely on her own. She mentioned conversations with teachers she shouldn't have had, tips she couldn't have known without insider help. My mind started spinning with suspicions I didn't want to confront. Could she have? I hesitated even thinking it. Could she have manipulated the system, or worse, done something behind my back? And then the rumors started. I heard whispers from peers, quiet voices hinting that she'd been unusually close to the selection committee members, that she somehow had an edge I wasn't aware of. I wanted to believe Mia was innocent, that this was just luck, but the gnawing feeling in my gut refused to let me rest. I felt trapped in a storm of emotions I couldn't sort through. At school, I tried to act normal, but every time I saw her smile, every time someone congratulated her, it was like a knife twisting in my chest. I avoided talking about the scholarship, avoided asking questions, and yet the curiosity and suspicion were eating me alive. I started noticing more things, her little brags disguised as casual remarks, her sudden late-night messages asking for my help with assignments that conveniently reminded me she was clever enough to seem deserving, but maybe not entirely honest. One evening, I found myself scrolling through her social media, feeling guilty, angry, and desperate, looking for anything that could explain this injustice. That's when I saw it, an encrypted conversation on a platform I didn't know she used. My pulse raced. I didn't know if I should click it, if I even had the right, but curiosity got the better of me. The messages weren't outright proof yet, but they hinted at something I hadn't expected: manipulation, subtle scheming, and a plan to secure the scholarship. My hands trembled as I read her words. I felt betrayed, my best friend, my confidant, the person I trusted more than anyone, and suddenly, everything felt like a lie. How could I face her now? How could I continue our friendship knowing that the person I loved and trusted had possibly taken something meant for me? And just when I thought the shock was enough, my phone buzzed with a message from Mia herself. "Hey, can we talk? I feel like you're upset with me." I stared at the screen, my fingers frozen. I knew that talking to her would either make everything worse or finally reveal the truth. But deep down, I realized one thing: I wasn't the same person who had opened that email hours ago. Something fundamental had shifted. Trust, friendship, the bond one had thought unbreakable, all of it was teetering on the edge, and I wasn't sure which way it would fall. And just like that, my dream, my scholarship, and my friendship had become tangled in a web I didn't know how to escape. The next day, I couldn't focus on anything. Every class, every conversation, every lunch period felt like a reminder that Mia had the thing I had worked for, and I didn't. I tried to convince myself it wasn't her fault, that maybe she genuinely deserved it, but the nagging feeling in my chest wouldn't go away. During study hall, I stared at my laptop, going over my essay one more time, questioning every word, every sentence structure, as if reliving it would somehow undo her success. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mia: "Can we meet after school? I want to explain some things." My stomach twisted. Explain? What could she explain? That she had stolen it? That she had lied? Part of me wanted to ignore it, let the anger simmer, but part of me needed answers. After school, we met at our usual coffee shop near the campus library. Mia was there already, sitting with that same radiant smile, as if nothing had changed, as if she hadn't just snatched my dream from me. "Hey," she said softly, "I can see you're upset, and I want to tell you everything." I forced a nod, gripping my bag strap so hard my knuckles turned white. She took a deep breath. "I didn't think it would get this big, and I never meant to hurt you. I had some help." My heart stopped. My worst suspicion was being confirmed in real time. "Help?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, my stomach twisting. "Yeah," she continued, "I knew about the committee. I knew some people, connections, I guess. I didn't want to say anything, because I knew you deserved it too. But then I realized, if I didn't act, it would go to someone else, and I wanted it." Her words hit me like a punch. Every ounce of trust, every memory of late-night study sessions, every inside joke we shared, suddenly felt tainted. You planned this?" I managed to choke out. She looked down, guilty. "I didn't plan it to hurt you. I couldn't resist. And I thought you would understand, because I thought we were on the same team." On the outside, I nodded slowly, keeping my voice calm, but inside, chaos consumed me. I wanted to scream, cry, slap her, demand she give it back. Instead, I took a deep breath, forcing myself to think. "So, everything was manipulation?" I asked. Mia flinched. "I didn't manipulate, not exactly. I just nudged things. Subtle stuff. Teachers, hints, nothing illegal. Just, I made it happen." The words made me feel sick. My best friend, my partner in every plan, had used me as a blind spot, focusing on herself. I wanted to leave, to run, but curiosity rooted me to the chair. I wanted to hear more, even though every word chipped away at what I thought I knew about her. "Why?" I asked finally. "Was it worth losing us?" Mia looked up, tears in her eyes, and for a moment, I saw the girl I had known, not the schemer. I thought it would be worth it. I thought, maybe this wouldn't change anything between us. I never wanted to hurt you, I swear. But the damage was done. The betrayal was sharp, like broken glass cutting through trust one had never doubted. I left the cafe without another word, walking aimlessly, letting the autumn wind hit my face. I couldn't believe that the person I had confided in, laughed with, dreamed with, had knowingly used me as a backdrop for her own victory. Over the next few days, everything shifted. I started noticing the way people looked at me differently, almost like they expected me to confront her, to be angry, to lose my composure. Rumors began swirling, and I realized that the scholarship, once a private dream, had become public gossip. I had to make a choice: confront Mia, risk losing her completely, or bury it and pretend everything was fine. But as much as I tried to ignore it, resentment grew, spreading into every interaction. Then one evening, my younger brother, Ethan, accidentally let slip something that changed everything. He said, "I saw your scholarship essay online. Mia posted it somewhere?" My stomach dropped. "What?" I asked, my heart racing. "Yeah, someone put it up on that student forum, and people are talking. They're saying she copied parts of your essay." I froze. My mind reeled. Could it be true? Had she really stolen my words, my vision, my work, and presented it as her own? I felt the ground shift beneath me. I wanted to hate her, to confront her, to demand the truth, but I also feared what I might find. The next day, I decided to look. I scrolled through the forum, heart pounding, and there it was, my essay, word for word, slightly altered, posted under Mia Layton's name. Comments praised her brilliance, her vision, her insight, all my ideas, all my work, attributed to her. I felt a wave of nausea, anger, and disbelief. This wasn't just a slip or subtle help, this was full-on deception. My hands shook as I stared at the screen. I realized that I couldn't just be the silent victim anymore. But at the same time, I knew that exposing her could destroy everything: our friendship, her future, and even my own reputation if people thought I was lying. I felt trapped in a web of lies and betrayal, unsure which move would save me, or if any move could. That night, I lay awake, replaying every conversation, every laugh, every moment I had shared with Mia, trying to find the girl I had trusted. And for the first time, I wondered if I had ever truly known her at all. The next morning, I walked into school feeling hollow, like I was moving through a world that had suddenly shifted into grayscale. Every glance at Mia made my stomach churn, every laugh she shared with others felt like a betrayal layered in sugar, and yet no one around me seemed to notice the storm inside. I had always been good at hiding my feelings, but this was different. The anger and disbelief were like fire running through my veins. During lunch, I overheard a few classmates talking. "Mia totally deserved that scholarship, she's brilliant," one said, and my chest tightened. I wanted to scream, to point at them and say, "That essay is mine," but I stayed silent, biting my lip until it bled. The temptation to confront her immediately was overwhelming, but I realized I needed evidence, something undeniable, something that would make everyone see the truth without me looking petty. That evening, I sat at my desk, laptop open, replaying every moment I had seen on that student forum. I copied screenshots, saved every conversation, and even noted timestamps of posts and edits. My mind raced, forming a plan, not just to expose Mia, but to protect myself, to reclaim my stolen dreams, and maybe, somehow, salvage the pieces of friendship that still lingered somewhere between trust and betrayal. The following week, I noticed subtle changes in Mia's behavior. She seemed more cautious, avoiding my gaze at times, but still wearing that signature confident smile when others were around. I began noticing inconsistencies in her story, tiny details she hadn't thought to cover, references to conversations she claimed to have had with teachers that didn't align with the timeline, and vague mentions of meetings that no one else seemed to remember. My suspicions hardened into certainty. Mia hadn't just manipulated her way to the scholarship, she had built an entire house of lies to get there, and I was determined to uncover every brick. Then came the twist I hadn't expected. One afternoon, while browsing through the encrypted chat I had stumbled upon weeks ago, I saw a message that made my heart skip. Be careful. She's on to us. Don't let her find out what really happened. My fingers froze over the keyboard. Us? Who else was involved? My mind spun, realizing that Mia hadn't acted alone. Someone had helped her, someone inside the scholarship committee, someone who had knowingly tipped her off, someone who had betrayed not just me, but the integrity of the entire process. Panic rose, but it was quickly replaced by determination. I couldn't let this slide. I needed answers, and I needed to protect myself before it was too late. That night, I started tracing every connection I could find: teachers, committee members, even old friends of Mia's who had suddenly become more visible in her social media interactions. Patterns emerged, subtle hints that confirmed what I feared: Mia had orchestrated this carefully, and someone else had quietly enabled her, tipping the scales in her favor. My mind reeled at the realization: the scholarship, which I had thought was a straight competition based on merit, had been a game of manipulation, strategy, and hidden alliances. And somehow, I had been blind to it the entire time. But the final twist was yet to come. The very next day, I overheard a conversation in the hallway that made my stomach twist into knots. A teacher, someone I had always trusted, whispered to another, "I didn't know she would take it this far, but she did. The essay, all of it, it was her friend's work." My head spun. My own mentor, someone I had confided in for guidance, had inadvertently confirmed the betrayal I had suspected but hadn't been able to prove. Mia had taken my work and claimed it as her own, and someone else had facilitated it. Rage, heartbreak, and disbelief collided inside me. The betrayal wasn't just personal, it was institutional, and it left me reeling. That afternoon, I confronted Mia in the library, my evidence ready, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. "We need to talk," I said, my voice low but firm. She looked up, surprised, her confident mask slipping just slightly. "About what?" she asked, her eyes darting, searching for a way out. I placed my laptop on the table, screenshots visible, chat logs, timestamps, everything meticulously organized. "This," I said simply. She leaned forward, a flicker of panic crossing her face, and for the first time I saw her not as my best friend, but as the architect of my stolen dream. I can explain," she stammered, but the words sounded hollow even to my own ears. I realized then that this confrontation was more than about the scholarship, it was about trust, loyalty, and the fragile line between friendship and betrayal. And as Mia sat there, scrambling for excuses, I knew one thing for certain: the fallout of this revelation would change everything, and there was no turning back. Mia's eyes darted between the laptop screen and mine, panic slowly overtaking her usual calm facade. I didn't know it would be this big," she muttered, her voice trembling. "I just wanted the scholarship. I didn't think it would hurt you this much." I took a deep breath, my fingers tightening around my bag strap. "It's not just about hurt, Mia. It's about betrayal. You took something that was mine, my work, my words, my effort, and presented it as your own. And you didn't act alone." Her lips quivered, and for a moment, I saw the old Mia, the one I had trusted, but it was fleeting. I had to. I had help. It wasn't just me. My stomach dropped. "Someone else? Who? Who helped you?" I demanded, my voice rising. Mia looked away, tears streaming down her cheeks. I can't say. They said if anyone found out, it would ruin both of us." My mind raced. The plot was bigger than I had imagined. Someone on the inside, someone powerful, had enabled this. And the worst part? Mia still expected me to understand, to forgive. "You mean I'm supposed to just forget that my best friend conspired to steal my dreams?" I asked, my voice sharp, but inside I was trembling, torn between fury and disbelief. I didn't want this," she whispered, almost pleading. But her words felt empty. I stood, pacing the library floor, trying to sort the storm raging inside me. I couldn't let her get away with this, and yet, confronting the committee without proof would be dangerous. I had to be smart, precise. Over the next few days, I quietly dug deeper, retracing every thread I could find. Emails, forum posts, social media interactions, and teacher comments, I compiled it all, connecting dots, confirming suspicions. Every piece of evidence pointed to Mia orchestrating a calculated takeover of the scholarship, with an accomplice whose identity remained hidden. My anger grew, but so did my resolve. I couldn't let her slip away unnoticed. Then, a breakthrough. An anonymous tip arrived in my inbox, a message with screenshots of a conversation between Mia and one of the committee members. The words were damning. "Make sure it's her essay. She'll never know," one read. My hands shook as I scrolled through the evidence. My suspicions were correct, and now I had proof. I had the power to expose her. But the thought of turning her in filled me with dread. Could I really destroy the person I had called my best friend? Could I survive the fallout, knowing I had ended our friendship forever? That night, I sat in my room, weighing the options. I could confront her publicly, bring the committee into it, and reclaim my work, or I could confront her privately, demanding an explanation and an apology, perhaps even a way to salvage some of what had been lost. The next day, I made my choice. I arranged to meet her in the park, the place where we had shared countless afternoons, laughing, dreaming, and planning our futures. She arrived, her face pale, eyes wary. "I know what you found," she said quietly. I nodded, placing the evidence in front of her. "You used me, Mia. You took my work, manipulated others, and lied. Explain yourself." She swallowed hard, tears streaming down her face. I was desperate. I wanted the scholarship so badly. I thought I could control it, that no one would find out. I never wanted to hurt you, not really. But I lost control. Her voice cracked, and for a moment, I saw the girl I had loved as a friend, vulnerable and human. But the betrayal ran too deep. You didn't just lose control, Mia. You shattered my trust, my dreams, and everything I believed about us. She hung her head, silence stretching between us, heavy and suffocating. I don't know what to do now," she whispered. And I realized, neither did I. The scholarship, the betrayal, the lies, it had all built to this moment, where nothing felt right, and everything had changed. I stood, heart aching, staring at the girl who had been my best friend. "I need time," I said, my voice firm but soft. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you." She nodded, tears spilling freely now, and I walked away, feeling the weight of the truth pressing down on me. The park, once a place of laughter and dreams, now felt like a battlefield, and I knew that no matter what happened next, nothing would ever be the same. As I turned the corner, my phone buzzed with another message. From Mia. "Please, don't end this completely. I'll do anything to make it right." I stared at the screen, torn. Could I trust her again? Could I forgive her, or would the betrayal always linger, a shadow over everything we had shared? And then the thought struck me, maybe some friendships weren't meant to survive the truth, no matter how much you wanted them to. The days that followed were tense and suffocating. I avoided Mia at school, kept my distance, and focused on gathering more evidence in case I had to take the matter to the scholarship committee. Every interaction with her felt like walking on a tightrope over a pit of betrayal and resentment. I was torn. Part of me still remembered the Mia who had been my best friend, the one who stayed up late editing my essays with me, the one who comforted me after heartbreaks, the one I had trusted with my deepest dreams. But the other part of me was sharp, defensive, ready to protect myself and my future from the girl who had stolen my work. Then came the unexpected. During an after-school meeting with the scholarship committee for general award follow-ups, I noticed something odd. Mia was there, meeting privately with one of the committee members. My curiosity, along with a sense of justice, pushed me closer. I could hear snippets of the conversation, enough to confirm my fears. She was covering her tracks, presenting an alternate version of events, making subtle claims that would cast doubt on my accusations if I spoke up prematurely. My pulse raced. This wasn't just about stealing an essay anymore, it was about control, manipulation, and preserving a lie at all costs. I realized I had to act, and I had to act now. That evening, I compiled every piece of evidence I had, the forum screenshots, the encrypted chats, the tip from the anonymous source, and the timestamps proving that the essay was mine. I typed a concise but firm message to the scholarship committee, attaching the evidence and explaining the situation, leaving no room for doubt. I sent it and waited, heart pounding, as the hours ticked by. The next morning, the committee requested an immediate meeting with both of us. Mia and I were called into a small office, the air tense and heavy. The chair across from the head of the committee felt like a courtroom bench, and I realized that every choice I had made led to this moment. Mia's eyes flicked to mine, panic and desperation clashing with the carefully constructed confidence she usually displayed. The committee began questioning, and as I presented my evidence clearly and calmly, I watched her flinch, realizing that the truth was undeniable. Mia tried to explain, stammering, offering excuses and apologies, but the proof was too strong. The committee deliberated, and the tension in the room was unbearable. Finally, the head spoke. After reviewing all evidence, it is clear that the original essay and work belong to my name. Mia Layton's award will be revoked, and proper procedures will be followed. Relief and satisfaction surged through me, but it was tempered by sorrow. Mia's face crumpled, tears streaming down, and though a part of me felt vindicated, I couldn't ignore the ache of lost friendship. Later, as I walked home, the autumn air sharp and crisp, I thought about what had happened. I had reclaimed my dream, but the cost was clear. Mia and I were no longer the inseparable duo we once were. Trust, once broken, was difficult to rebuild, and even though I had gained what was rightfully mine, a part of me mourned the friendship that had been destroyed by ambition and deceit. A week later, I received an unexpected message from Mia. "I'm sorry. I know I can't undo what I did, but I hope one day you can forgive me." I stared at it for a long time, my emotions tangled. Forgiveness wasn't immediate, but I understood something crucial: betrayal didn't have to define me. I had stood up for myself, faced the pain, and reclaimed my path. And in that moment, I realized that some friendships, no matter how treasured, were not meant to last forever, but the lessons they leave behind can shape us in ways we never expected. I walked into the scholarship orientation a few days later, holding my acceptance letter, a symbol not just of achievement, but of resilience, integrity, and the strength to reclaim my dreams. Mia was there too, sitting quietly, her head down, a shadow of the confident girl she once was. I didn't approach her, and she didn't approach me. We were two people forever changed, two paths that had diverged, and I realized that some endings, though painful, can lead to beginnings that are stronger than we ever imagined. And as I looked around the room, surrounded by new faces, new friends, and the promise of the future I had worked so hard for, I felt a sense of clarity and peace. I had survived the betrayal, and I was ready to build a future that was mine, uncompromised, unshaken, and completely my own.